Grid is one of the very familiar ways for beginners to practice portrait. But if you ask me about my honest opinion about the grid method, grid is a fairly decent way to create portraits, but it is just not for the beginners. Confused? I'm trying to make a point here. Please watch the video until the end. You will be able to learn a lot of things from this video. Only then you will understand what I am trying to say. Otherwise, this video will look more like a gossip session. Let me first explain to you what grid method is. Copying inch by inch from your reference photo on your drawing sheet. You will have to divide your reference photo into rows and columns and draw the same number of rows and columns on your drawing sheet, and then copy everything from the reference photo inch by inch on the drawing sheet. This is grid method. Now, why do I not recommend grid for the beginners? I'm going to tell you all the reasons one by one. The billion-dollar question is, does grid guarantee resemblance? Most people use grid method because they think that this is the safest way to draw a portrait. They think that achieving resemblance using grid is very easy. I'm going to share a few pencil portraits that I found online, which from my experience I can say they are drawn using grid method. Few are complete and few are just outlines. I'm only trying to educate you people here. My intention is not to belittle any budding artist. I have done a lot of portraits. I've been practicing portraits for 17 years now. I love to do live portrait drawings, and freehand is my forte. And from my experience, I would say that outline should be such that you should be able to recognize the character from the outline itself. For example, take a look at this drawing. The outline is done, but the outline is not close to the character, isn't it? The outline is not close to Deepika, isn't it? Now, if you continue to develop this outline into a portrait, it may not have a lot of resemblance to Deepika Padukone. But if the resemblance is missing, what is the point in creating a portrait? Now check this second drawing. This is also an outline of Deepika Padukone. This also lacks resemblance. It is very risky if you develop this outline into a portrait. It may even turn out to be a really beautiful portrait, but it is very difficult to get close to the character using this outline. Let us say you have become an artist and you are taking a commission portrait. And if your portrait does not look like your customer, will he or she be happy about the portrait? So resemblance is very important, isn't it? Now I am going to show you my drawing. This is called an underdrawing. The underdrawing is something which can be developed into a realistic portrait, pencil portrait, charcoal portrait, or oil painting. So the purpose of the underdrawing is to ensure that we do not lose the portrait in terms of resemblance or light. Underdrawing is done so it can be developed into a perfect portrait. Underdrawing can be done both using grid method and freehand. See, if I develop this underdrawing into a portrait, we can be very sure that it will look exactly like Rihanna. And it will be a perfect portrait. You know why? Because it already has the light and absence of light demarcation and also the resemblance. Experienced artists prefer underdrawing over mere outlines, and you can also create it using grid method. Now see, please check this drawing. It is a complete portrait, and as an artist I am very sure that it has been created using grid method. But does it look like Deepika? Think about it. Now this is the reference photo for the drawing, and from an artist's perspective I can say this is a faithful copy from the reference photo, because it does not fulfill the criteria of a perfect portrait. The reflection is missing, reflected light is missing, and there is no highlight in the eyes because there is no highlight in the reference photo as well. So these are the few mistakes artists would recognize at the first glance itself. This is the kind of artwork which will not be accepted in the art world. To be clear, if you send this portrait to a competition, this work will not be shortlisted at all. For a portrait to look great, to look perfect and have great resemblance, it is also important that you choose the right reference photo. Please stay connected with me, and I will also teach you in the forthcoming videos what kind of photos to choose and what not to choose as reference photos, so your portrait will look perfect. If you are new to portrait drawing, you should be wondering what stability means. I'm going to share with you few portraits that I've created and few portraits that I've found online. I'm going to compare them and make you understand what stability means. Now check these portraits. I'm sure they look like Deepika Padukone, but the portraits also look skewed and misfigured, isn't it? So these are called unstable portraits, lacking stability. Now I'm going to share with you my portrait. This was created in 2 to 3 hours using the freehand technique without the use of grid, and I completed the the portrait in single stretch. Now do you see the difference between these portraits? If you think my portrait looks perfect, it is only because it has more stability than these portraits and also more resemblance. I'm going to show you 2 more portraits I found online of Priyanka Chopra. Check these portraits. They have resemblance. They do look like Priyanka Chopra, right? And yet something is missing, isn't it? Now this is my work. Does it look stable to you? Do you see the difference now? In simple words, if a portrait looks more cartoonish or like a caricature, which means it lacks stability. Now check this portrait. Does it look stable or cartoonish to you? Look at the fingers, look at the nose and the lips. Do they look a little weird to you? Now do you understand what I am trying to say? For a beginner, this portrait may look perfect, but actually it looks very cartoonish. Most people would think this portrait looks good. Of course, it has some amount of resemblance, but the light is completely missing, isn't it? I mean, where is the light source? It is on the right side of the person or the left side of the person or the top or bottom of the person. Now, why do I get this question? It is because there is no core or cast shadows on this drawing. If the light source is on the right side of the person, the shadow should be on the left side of the portrait. If the light source is on the left side of the person, the shadow should be on the right side of the portrait. If the light is on the top, then the shadow should be here, under the lip and below the face. This is basically not the wrong effect of using grid. It is the downside of using reference photo, very particularly the wrong reference photos. If you are a beginner and if you are using grid method, you may not know what kind of reference photos to choose for your drawing. I'm going to share a beautiful portrait with you now. Does it look like a great work? It is a great work. Has great resemblance and looks realistic. Perfect. But what is the problem with this portrait? It has a big flaw. For starters, nose does not fall in line with the mouth. Mouth is not in the center of the portrait. From the reflection in the portrait, I could tell that the light source is on top, somewhere in the top, not right on top, somewhere in front of him. So there has to be a shadow somewhere in the portrait, right? Because we have established that the light source is there. There is no shadow for the spectacle. There is no shadow for the nose. But we see the shadow of the chain in the portrait. This is what happens if you blindly copy from the reference photo using grid method. This is my portrait. This is developed from the underdrawing I shared earlier in this video. I've used pencil and charcoal in this portrait. Now light is on top left of the person, and that is why you see reflection on the left of her forehead. You can see light on the left side of her face, reflection on her nose, lips and all that. Now you will see the shadow on the other side of the face. Now this is the shadow of the nose, this is the shadow of the face. Rest of all these is the core shadow. Since I know the fundamentals of portrait drawing, you will not see a lot of logical errors in my portrait, like shadow or light or reflected light missing in my portraits. This is exactly why grid is not for the beginners. Let us say you just want to draw portraits for fun. Even then, if you learn the basics of portrait drawing and face construction, you will be able to enjoy the process of portrait drawing even more. And particularly if you would like to take art as your career or you would like to apply for awards, basics is a must. Once after you learn the basics, live portrait study is also very important. What happens when you keep studying portrait from life is that you will be clearly able to observe the effects of light on a person. I've done more than 3000 portraits just for the sake of practice. Half of them are from reference photos and half of them are from life. Whether I use freehand or grid method doesn't matter to me. I focus on the stability of the portrait, light and shadow, resemblance, and also I take special effort to ensure that the portrait does not look skewed or misfigured. I hope this video was useful to you. For more such videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I promise to upload videos regularly.